Welcome. I guess I'm Crashy Rice, formerly known as Blind Guy McSqueezy, here with you tonight, Wednesday evening at around 10 p.m., because we never sleep. Joined here by my co-host, John. What's your fantasy?
Vicious and delicious.
Vicious and delicious. Both of us have been champions of this league before. Something that a lot of people cannot say in our league. I won't name any names, but there are some that have tried very hard and have never gotten close. I thought it'd be fun to have some more banter throughout the week as we go through our league. And we'll try to do this on a week-by-week basis, and would love to have guests as well. Just get on here, maybe rant for a few minutes, and then we'll kick you off. But yeah, I'll hand it over to John. John, any thoughts about what you would want this podcast to be? What the format is? I know you've put a lot of time and effort into understanding what the structure and the format of this should be. So I'll let you lead us in.
Yeah, I would say this has been a dream for about 22, 23 years now to get to do this, to get to bring the guys together. I think after we left college and we don't get to spend as much time with each other, this is all that our friendship relies on. This is what holds it together, is this fantasy football league. I may not know anything about my former roommates' families or lives or jobs, but I know who's on their bench and how they should have played. So I think this is the one thing that can keep us all together and save humanity as we know it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I would give a big shout out to one of our co-managers in the league. His name is Big Wieners. This last week he was 100% on his efficiency, so he scored exactly the most amount of points that he could and still lost in quite terrible fashion. So I think that's it's a great award to get in a week that you win, and a terrible award to get in a week that you lose quite horribly. So congrats.
Well, and it just depends on how you measure success,
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the scoreboard, in terms of winning a championship, which he has yet to do, I mean, it just feels like maybe he has the wrong standards for success. Very efficient for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like he seems like he's trying to lose. He's trying to lose in a sense where he can show us he's efficiently doing so, right? Where it's he's still trying to make a point, but he can't ever get past the threshold of getting to a spot where winning actually matters to him. Because he's never actually made it to the championship, from my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just his education or what it is, but he seems to value efficiency. And so I think he specifically drafted players that aren't very good, but he knew would consistently score, well. So, I mean, if he's smart, what he should do is just draft a bunch of other players on IR or free agents, and then he's guaranteed to get 100% efficiency every game the rest of the season.
That's true. That is true. We wish him a lot of luck. I think he tries to play down how much this league means to him, and it's bordering on sad. I would say it's bordering on sad, and so we really want to get him a win. I don't know if this is going to be the week for him. He's got about a 41% chance, but we'll go through those matchups a bit later, and so. Yeah, I think to start it off, that's a good way to roll in. It's going to broaden, and we'll talk about more items as the weeks go on and we have more analytics and data to work through. But for the time being, we're going to work now into a waiver wire / fantasy football news aspect of the show. And so, we'll roll right into that. So, as we go here, this is our league. PJ Boys, 2017 to 2024. Seven years is a long time.
Because the name originally is for who were the PJ Boys during those years but you have changed it to think that it's how many years the league has been active.
And
And
yeah,
really, it was like Harrison was in PJ in 2017, all the way to when Eric was in PJ. Was that the original name? So
that's true. Yeah, I guess I extended it to show our time frame. One, because I think we need to do something special for the 10-year anniversary, and not entirely sure what that'll be, but I don't think if we don't track it, we're not going to remember it. That's for sure. I can tell you that. With this group of guys, there's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think as we start into this fantasy football news segment, first I want to walk through the recent waiver wire pickups. John, I don't know about you, but I was very iffy on what my rankings of the waiver wire were this week. With Isaiah Pacheco going down, obviously one of the running backs in Kansas City was going to be the top waiver priority, but didn't know from your perspective. Did you put a claim in? And if so, you did not.
I did not put one in for Steele.
Yeah, because you don't have Pacheco. That would be Harrison. But did you have a certain understanding of why you didn't want Carson Steele on this, or did you just think that you weren't going to be able to get him either way?
My thing was more about the current running backs I already had. I'm more in need of some wide receivers, maybe even a quarterback. I have Saquon, James Conner, Najee, Warren, Chase Brown. So I was feeling good about running back. But that's why I didn't go for them. I was more about picking up a defense, all about the defense.
The top priority, Carson Steele. We see that Harrison got that. I think Harrison has Pacheco, so that kind of makes sense that he wanted to pick him up. But I didn't want to touch anyone in this backfield. I don't think we're going to know at all who is going to be, and I think they're going to keep it a committee for at least like the next 3 weeks. And signing Kareem Hunt to the practice squad, I think, really muddies the water both ways.
Yeah, there's too much to be seen for sure. Plus, I mean, they have a receiving core they'll just hand the ball off to them in the backfield as well. So
Demarcus Robinson looks like he had another. Oh, you did put in a waiver priority for Demarcus Robinson. You wanted him. How did it feel to see Jacob 3901 be able to pull that rug out from under you? I feel like that's got to be a brutal realization on Wednesday morning.
Definitely frustrating, but you feel bad for the guy. So I think, again, this is part of my team I'd like to improve is the wide receivers, but this pick was more to try to round it out or have a better bench, and so we'll see what's out there. We're getting into week 3 and 4, which is about the time where you know what players will still be around and aren't as injured, so we'll see what trades come into play in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and I think consistently we have not been a big trade league, which is unfortunate. I think none of us trust each other is really what that boils down to. I think we all would want to think that there's an ulterior motive from any trade development that would be going on. But you did get a trade done earlier in the year, right, with Jacob?
I did. DK Metcalf for Josh Jacobs, so that helped me. I had a lot of running backs at the beginning. Went running back heavy, so that was a good trade on my end.
I feel like it'd be worthwhile for our league to do more of them, and I really liked last year. I think it was Drew and Harrison that might have done a trade that had like a 3-week automatic reversal period. I actually completed a trade like that in my other league where I was able to trade Jerome Ford for Brandon Ayuk. And then once Nick Chubb is back off of the PUP, it'll switch back out. So I appreciate both Harrison and Drew pushing that forward, letting me know about it.
Speaking of Harrison and Drew, I think those are some of your biggest, just maybe enemies of switching to the Sleeper app. I just don't know if you had any comments on kind of the flack.
Yeah,
app and possibly you being the cause of the change.
I know. I I'm not gonna lie. I felt personally victimized by the text messages that came through, even though it was a group decision at some point. I've used all three app platforms, all four if you include NFL Fantasy, and this is by far the best one that I've used. It takes some getting used to, but I just like the features of it a lot better.
And that's a question that I think that people want to know is, did you move this one to Sleeper so you could just have everything in one app?
No, I don't think so. I think for me, I don't really mind. I still have the ESPN Fantasy app and the Yahoo Fantasy app on my phone, so it didn't really matter to me if they were all consolidated or not. The ESPN app was just, I compared the ESPN app to like GroupMe and then Sleeper to like Discord, where they both get the job done. They both get you the information you want to use, but in every sense of it, I would use Discord over GroupMe. But I think it's a perception thing where, especially if it's been hyped up to you a lot and then you get into it and it's still just a fantasy football platform. Like it's not trying to be more than it is. There can be some disappointment there. And then it was interesting because I've always had issues loading into ESPN and never really issues on the Sleeper app. So if that was the other way around, I could totally understand their viewpoint as well. So I won't rant too much about it. I think it'll play itself out, and if it needs to change, it needs to change, and I'm totally fine with that, and I appreciate people bringing their concerns forward. But I'm just hoping that eventually people will see the merit behind it.
Yeah, I think it really is. It depends on the type of manager you are, too, because I think ESPN had more built-in features for you to use IBM Watson and things like that to help you make picks that you didn't do much research on. And I think Sleeper kind of forces you to actually know a lot more about your players and what's going on their teams. So it kind of exposes the people that were relying too much on the safety net that ESPN provided for you to, put out a good team every week versus now it's how much do you actually know about the teams, the players, and what's going on in the matchups. So.
Yeah, I didn't say it. I won't say it. But I will publish this. That's pretty much all I had here on the waiver wire. I guess from a news perspective, we've got a ton of players on IR. Cooper Kupp, Christian McCaffrey, AJ Brown looks like he's not going to play. Deebo Samuel, Isaiah Pacheco with a fractured tibia, one of the two. If you can get a back end of the season and you can roll into playoffs that way, I know that's how Harrison rolled in and was the lowest seed and ended up winning the whole thing. So it's when you get hot, when do your players and start finding their roles and what waiver wire pickups can you make towards the end there. Awesome. So now we'll move into the weekly matchups let's switch over there now. And to be completely honest, I definitely did not put John or I's camera on this slide. So you won't see us here, but you will see us talk about it. We will be making matchup predictions, and we're going to then keep track of those, see who's more accurate over time. We'll go in from there. Austin and I've got a 107.8 and he's got 106.3 here. He's starting Jared Goff, so I feel like I've got that one in the bag. Kenneth Walker I didn't mention, but he's missed practice today with an oblique injury still, so he's questionable to play. Joe Mixon is the same way. This is one of the matchups, I will say, that I want to win every single time that I play Austin. PJ 2.0 matchup here. So I desperately want to win this one, but we'll kind of see how it all plays out. I'm going to say I'm going to win. What are you who are you choosing on this one?
I'm also choosing Crashy Rice.
Let's go. Okay.
For this one.
All right. So we've got a one.
I mean, the Goff pick could be okay. You got two questionable, Walker and Mixon. Um, the thing is, I think Gibbs catches more and Montgomery runs it more. So
Yep.
it'll be interesting for
We'll
sure.
see. We'll
But yeah,
see.
I'm going Crashy Rice on this one.
All right, let's go. Crashy Rice. All right, as we move back in, the next matchup we have here is you versus Harrison. And this one, you've got, um, a couple powerhouse QBs here. Um, some great running backs, although Derrick Henry against Dallas is a bit rough. Aaron Jones is questionable. I haven't heard about that one. Looks like he's still scheduled to play. And then, yeah, I mean, this wide receiver core is kind of like a hit or miss. You've got Mike Evans and Zay Flowers versus Malik Neighbors and DK Metcalf. I'd probably choose your side on this one just because of the way that Malik Neighbors has been playing.
And then two rookies in the flex there. So
That's true. That's a big
Xavier
matchup there.
Worthy and Harrison.
He's really going for the upside of the loss of Isaiah Pacheco here, I think, with the Xavier Worthy pick. So we'll see how that happen or how that works. He's got Carson Steele on his bench, which is a little interesting, seeing that he just picked him up, but understandable. He'd want to see a week to see if he plays well and then move on from there. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take. I think I'm taking you on this one. I like the consistency of it a little bit better.
I agree. I would also pick my own team here.
It is interesting. There's really been no tight end breakouts yet.
Yeah, we had Likely for one game, and then everyone kind of reacted to that.
Yeah,
They Likely, and then that's kind of been it.
that's true. True. All right, as we transition to the third matchup, we've got Eric versus Drew. This is a old versus young here.
Two business fellows.
That is true. This is
So-
the business fellow matchup. You're right. It's gonna. You think their analytical mindsets here are kind of like battling? No one's gonna get the upper hand because they both think the exact same way.
Yeah, I know for a fact that Drew took a course in game theory, so I wouldn't trust him on anything. Um, I think he's playing lots of games here, and he's 2-0 to prove it. You know, his start and sit accuracy is at 97.4%.
I love it. He is projected 9 points less at the moment. I think Eric's got a killer team, and unfortunately, it just underperforms from time to time, especially with the injuries that he's had.
There's no way he plays the Saints defense against his team, the Philadelphia Eagles, who also just are coming off of a loss to the Atlanta Falcons. So there's just no way that he's going to be cheering for a defense against his team. The Saints don't have a good defense. They score a lot of points. So if he can change out Swift and then maybe a defensive change, he just doesn't have another good running back really. So that'll be what it comes down to. So I'm going team EB Eagle on this one.
All right, Team EB Eagle. I think the same way. I just think Devontae Smith with A.J. Brown maybe missing another week. Devon Achane is just so good. And then Jordan Mason, a great pickup from Eric. He did that on, I guess, the night of the Monday Night Football game before, when Christian McCaffrey was actually declared out. We'll see how it goes. Awesome. So then our fourth matchup, right? We're on 4. That sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Is Turner versus Sam. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea if he has checked his team since the draft.
So he must have moved Puka out. There's no way that he didn't start Puka, especially if he's got Reed and McLaurin as his starters. So he's got to have touched it a little bit, but he's got a bench spot open. You know, he's got a free player he could go get somewhere, choosing not to, which is an interesting move to say the least. One of the best quarterbacks.
It's true. And Brandon Ayuk should fill in the Debo role, or at least vulture some additional targets from that aspect. So he's got an okay team. It's brutal when you're going up against Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. I don't know how.
I mean, you've also got Alvin Kamara there, who I will not score like he did last week. But you think about when Philly played Atlanta on Monday. The one thing Atlanta did well was run the ball. and Kamara's going to come off 4 touchdowns and 170 yards or whatever it was. And so I'd be interested to see how he does against Philly, or if Philly's going to adjust to the run because they realized that was a weakness of theirs. So I've got to go Carl Weezer here. They're just, I mean, you look at everyone on this team, and I just don't know how you can. Plus, you got to believe in CJ. I mean, just exciting to have the Texans back in the mix this year.
I think I'm going the same. I'm going Carl Weezer. It's hard to say no to that face. We know that we're going to get some random Carl Weezer dancing gif, and it's going to be a great time. It's always a good time when Sam sends that through on Sunday or Monday night.
Next matchup is the easiest pick of them all. I mean, I literally think it's the best team versus the worst team.
It's I mean, big wieners. You hate to see it. You hate to see a projected total under 100 points, but it's common now with this guy. I don't really know what else to say outside of the fact that, you know, no soup for you. Jordan is analytic god. He's just amazing at this game. He does such a good job tracking everything. And with a core of CeeDee Lamb, Bijan, Lamar Jackson, Nico Collins, what a dog. Brock Bowers, who is one of the only bright spots in the tight end. And then the Jets defense versus New England is just...
Any defense against New England or Carolina is going to be your best.
It's an immediate 10 points for sure, at least. Yeah.
This team's got legs. This team has got legs.
It's yeah. I had to play him last week. He got the dub. Wonderful play by him. It was a nail biter down to the Nico Collins game, and tip of the cap out to that guy. Real easy tip of the cap out to that guy, though. Honestly, not so much from the big wieners perspective. It's always hard to lose against him, which no one has done yet. And I don't know if I'm projecting that to happen a whole lot this season. But when it does happen, it's a pretty hard mental state to get over. You wish the world for that guy. He's just it's rough to see it happen time and time again where he's in this position. Awesome. Well, yep, I'm taking no soup for you here over big wieners for the matchup in there. All right, so I think we're aligned on all of them, honestly, which is unfortunate because then our records are going to be the same.
Just trying to think of how we could do a tiebreaker. I mean, I guess we could just say who we think will be the top team, who will score the most points.
That's true. Man. I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to give it to Team EB Eagle. I'm going a little homer here. I want him to get the dub. He's deserved it for a while. He's got a great team. And I think this is the week that really shows out.
Yeah, I'm going no soup for you here with the top score.
No soup for you. I love it. Awesome. Well, I think that's going to be the end of it. Very rough go of it. 32 minutes long. That's a long time to be doing this, so we'll probably try and cut that down. We may get more people on the podcast, have some more discussion, have some more rants. Looking forward to more of that this season. We're 2 weeks in the books. Nothing's established yet. Waiver wire is so important. And it, as the weeks go on,
let's see some trades.
Yeah, let's throw some.
Let's see some trades.
Let's see some trades. People throw some stuff out. We would love to see some stuff come through. All right. Well, we'll try and get this out again probably next Wednesday from the PJ Boys Pod production, which is solely me. We appreciate y'all logging in, listening to our crap fest on one of the members of this league, especially. But he deserves it, so it makes sense. And yeah, John, sign off remarks. Anything on your mind? Any big ideas in this world?
No, I'm just,
generally,
man. After the Falcons win, I'm feeling good, ready to take on the Chiefs and make Taylor Swift cry.
Oh, also big news: Eagle family got a new member the other day. I was able to meet her the day of, but I don't know if you'll be able to introduce her, John. But we'll get her on the pod one of these days.
Yeah, she's asleep.
There she is. Oh, lovely. Well,
What a punk.
what a punk. Well, I wish you the best. Love you, and we'll talk to you again next PJ's pod.
Godspeed. We're all counting on you.
Awesome.